Even with much of its team in the infirmary, Volunteer fans expected a competitive game against Alabama on last week. That did not happen. The Crimson Tide getting a 49-10 dominant victory over the Volunteers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee. With that being said, welcome inside 16 and counting, Touchdown Alabama Magazine's premier football show, coming to you from the gorgeous Courtyard Marriott Hotel in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm joined here each and every week by the man of Texas, Ivan White. I am yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. And speaking of Texas, the Crimson Tide hosting the 6th-ranked A&M Aggies this week at Bryant-Denny Stadium. But before we get into that, Ivan, a bloodbath between Alabama and Tennessee.
Yeah, it was a game in which Volunteer fans, as you mentioned, expected their team to be more competitive, but unfortunately the injuries did catch up to them, and now the Tide transitioned from a quarterback that has been winless against them to a quarterback that actually owns a win against them in Trevor Knight.
Trevor Knight, a dynamic quarterback indeed, but before we talk Trevor Knight, we got to get into our keys to victory for Alabama, and the number one key, it starts with that Crimson Tide's offensive line and neutralizing a dangerous defensive front for the Aggies, and a front led by Myles Garrett, Deshaun Hall, and Dalen Mack. If you're Cam Robinson, Bradley Bozeman, Raj Pierce-Baker, just this entire offensive line, how do you confront this unit?
Well, first off, communications is going to be key. As an offensive line, you're going to want to make sure you know where each of those men are at, Deshaun Hall and Myles Garrett, because obviously they are each top 10 picks in the NFL. They have so much talent and some of the best pass rushers in all of college football. For Cam Robinson, he's going to have to limit those mistakes that he's been making not only this year but throughout his entire career. Unfortunately, false starts have been something that has mouthed his career for a long time right now. And for Cam Robinson, the proving point's going to be this Saturday. He's going to have to go up against a top 10 talent in Myles Garrett, and if he doesn't show up, it could be a long day for the Crimson Tide.
Myles Garrett on the year, 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Deshaun Hall, 9 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks to his credit. Number 2, we can look at Alabama's defensive front getting back into Trevor Knight. The one win he does have against Alabama, the 2014 Sugar Bowl off the 2013 season. Knight, a true freshman at that time for the Oklahoma Sooners, tossed for over 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. At that time, Josh Heupel was the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma. He's now with Missouri. But if you look at Trevor Knight, breaking him down, 53.5% of passes completed for 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's done a better job running the football, 65 carries, 502 yards on the ground, 9 touchdowns. Alabama's defensive front, Tennessee did not use the zone read a lot with Josh Dobbs. A&M's going to use it a lot more. How do you combat this?
Well, as you said, Josh Dobbs in Tennessee was the team that they mostly handed the ball off to Alvin Kamara and whichever running back was in. And Texas A&M is a team that's not afraid to keep it in their quarterback's hands no matter which position of the field they're on. And Alabama's going to have to be keen to that. Last week they were just able to attack the backfield at will and anytime they wanted to. They're not going to be able to do that this week. They're going to have to sit back and wait in their lanes. Now, with that being said, do not be afraid to attack Trevor Knight, because when he's under pressure, you can force those interceptions and turnovers that this defense has been famous for all throughout this entire season. So with that being said, you're going to have to make sure that you do get the pressure, but get into his head more than anything. He already has a confidence instilled in his mind that he can beat this team and defeat the Crimson Tide. So make sure you bring that confidence down a little bit.
Number 3 for the Crimson Tide and keys to victory goes to its secondary. Texas A&M has a lot of great receivers, but the 2 potent ones, Josh Reynolds, Christian Kirk, the 2 combined have 8 touchdowns. Who does Alabama needs to force to beat them when it comes down to secondary play? Because you're not going to allow that ball to get into the hands of Reynolds or Christian Kirk.
Well, I just don't think they're going to be able to stop him from just getting the ball. Christian Kirk's a receiver that's like an Darius Stewart. He's going to find ways to get the ball, and Texas A&M's going to find ways to get him the ball, as they do with the jet sweep here with Darius Stewart. When he does get the ball, though, you're going to want to make sure that your cornerbacks and everybody stay on the outside and make sure that they don't let him beat them on the edge. Because once you get beat on the edge, this Texas A&M team is very fast. I know the Alabama defense is very fast and one of the fastest in the country, but this Texas A&M offense is the fastest in the country. They have some players and athletes out there that can burn some people.
A&M coming into this game, as I mentioned, 6-0, coming off a bye week, traveling to Bryant-Denny Stadium to play against the Crimson Tide. As we get into our prediction moment here on 16 and counting, Alabama, Texas A&M College game day will be in town. Ivan, you're from Texas. Well, at least that's according to your birth certificate there. You are going first.
In this contest, I think this will be the toughest contest that the Crimson Tide have had to date. Texas A&M is a team not to joke with, but at the same time, the Crimson Tide are the number one team in the country for a reason. So I think they do handle their business. They win 34-24, but it will be a contest in which you could possibly see the Crimson Tide down for a little bit longer than you've seen them down at any game at any point this season.
34-24 has Ivan in favor of Alabama. I'm going 38-26 in favor of the Crimson Tide. Trevor Knight's going to be able to move the football. But as always, Alabama, a second-half team. Jeremy Pruitt, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, they know how to make adjustments. They'll get those adjustments made. I got 38-26 in favor of Alabama. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Crimson Tide and Aggie Nation collides this Saturday, October 22nd, 2016 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. CBS Sports, Vern Lundquist and Gary Danielson will have the call at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Kirk Herbstreit, Lee Corso, Desmond Howard, and the College Football Game Day crew will be in town as well. For all of us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine, for Ivan White, I am yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Enjoy the game, folks, and until next time. So long, everybody.
And enjoy all the thrilling college football.